Hi, in this video I will talk about the Pen Surah, Kalam Surah. In the name of God, most gracious, most merciful. Nun, the pen and what they write, is unique among the Quran's miraculous initials. And this is only this surah, I think, mentions with this, using this word. And we can see Appendix 1, Nun. The initial is unique. It occurs in 1 Surah 68. The name of letter is spelled out as 3 letters in the original text and is therefore counted as 2 N's. The total count of this letter in the N initial surah is 133 and 19, and it is divided by 19. The fact that N is the last Quranic initial brings out a number of special observations. For example, number of verses from the first Quranic initial to the last initial is 5263 divided by 19. It can be divided by 19. The word God occurs 2641 times between the first initial and the last initial. Since the total occurrence of word God is 2698, it follows that its occurrence outside the initials of Alif Lam Mim of one side and the initial of N of Surah 68 verse 1 on the other side is 5719 divided by, it can be divided by 19. Tables 9 to 18 prove that the initial Nun must be spelled out to show 2 N's, and we can see all the initials. So 3 Alif Lam Mim, Alif Lam Ra, and I think Yasin is also unique to this, and Sad, Hamim. So Hamim is maybe most common initial. We can check this. Most common Quranic initial. Alif. So Hamim also seems like common. And so, and they used like some frequency calculations in the Quran, and so, and that's why it makes it interesting. And especially in this surah, we see that depend what people write. You have attained a great blessing from your Lord. You are not crazy. It's like afternoon, focusing on what people write, and after Yasin, it's also focusing on this, I guess. Let's see. Yasin Bal Quran al Hakim. So can we make some rules, like if the initial is only 1 in the like Yasin Bal Quran al Hakim innaka lamin al mursalin, and the meaning like translation Yasin, so by the Quran, and talking about the Quran, and so we check other initials with Sat. So Sad Surah. It's my first time. I previously think that might be the case, but by the Quran. So if the initials is only 1 by the Quran, and the Quran was mentioned previously, I tried to hypothesize that if there is a Quranic initials, then referring to Quran, but I think this is not true. But I think I can make it specific, maybe, that if the initials was mentioned only once, like Taha, Yasin, Sa, so we see Yasin, Sat, and this, the Pen Surah, and let's say Kaf Surah, Kaf Surah, Kaf Surah, Kaf by the glorious Quran. So the initial, if the initial was mentioned only once, then it is referring to Quran, and it should be like this, because otherwise it feels like it's unclear why it is one time. You are questioning this. So another thing, Kaf, I think Taha is the last one. So if the Taha is like that, it proves our hypothesis if the one initial is used and it is always referring to Quran. Let's see. I forgot the Taha Surah first two verses. We have not, so it's referring to Quran too. We have not revealed the Quran to you, to Prophet, to cause you this. So then our hypothesis was confirmed, and there is a structure in the Quran. And if one of the initials are used only one time, and Taha Surah, so including those surahs, Taha, Yasin, Sad, Kaf, and Nun, and always referring to Quran. And the reason is simply, otherwise it feels like people can ask, like, why God used it? And it's like, if Alif Lam Mim, you can see that there is a correlation between other Alif Lam Mim surahs. But if they are only mentioned in one surah, then God should refer to Quran to make it like some harmony. Otherwise it will be lack of harmony. You will feel like that. So that's why I suddenly hypothesize. I'm not like working on it like forever. So, and another thing, previously I tried to say like, yeah, if there are Quranic initials always referring to Quran, but it's not true. And in some surahs, mentioning those letters, but changing the topic. Like I think in the Heifer Surah we can see this. Heifer Surah. I think there is not referring to Quran in Heifer Surah beginning. Like, let's see. I may. So let's. How can we see this? So Surah. So this is also referring, but which surah it doesn't refer. So most of them is referring, but some of them are mentioning with this, but it is not referring to Quran. So let's see the table. Where is the table? So Quran's. So what verses with surahs starting with Quranic initials? These 20 surah, 9 surah. So okay, let's see. So this is the table. So family of Imran. So let's check this one. So we're trying to find. So this is in this surah. So okay, now it proves it. So it doesn't start Alif Lam Mim. After Alif Lam Mim, we see that there's no referring to. It's not directly referring. So okay, the verse 3 is referring, but not directly, like it's mentioning the God first. And check other surahs. Huruf Muqatta'at surahs. The Purgatory Surah. The Purgatory Surah, Araf Surah. So it's referring to Quran too. Jonah Surah. So okay, are the proofs of this book of wisdom? Okay, not this. Hud Surah. So the number 11, Surah 11. Hud. Alif Lam Ra, this is a scripture whose verse X have been perfected and elucidated. Okay, this is mentioning the Thunder Surah, Joseph Surah, Joseph Surah, and then Thunder Surah. These are the proofs of this profound scripture. And Thunder Surah. So these are proofs of this scripture. And Abraham Surah. So this is a scripture that we reveal to you in order to let people out of darkness. So it doesn't say like it is. So here it doesn't say like it's the truth, but it is letting. So okay, it's slightly related, but this is not like the others. So the them is changing. So Surah 15, Hijr Surah. These are proof of the scripture. 19, Mary Surah. Okay, this is okay. We found it. Kaf Ha Ain Sad, a narration about your Lord's mercy towards His servant Zechariah. Okay, so it proves our point that this is not referring to Quran at all. So we see that in the because otherwise some people who don't know about initials may question if it was not used before. So that's why it is interesting. But we see that actually there are several Muqatta'at letters here in this surah, but interestingly, some of them also including other letters like Sad. So if then our hypothesis can be perfect like this. If there is a single letter used, it's always referring to Quran. So and then our hypothesis will be perfect, and Quran will confirm that as a system. So and this is Kaf Ha Ain Sad is also seems used only one time. So that's why. But it seems like a kaf was used. So then we should make our hypothesis more specific. If there is one letter, kaf and noon, and it must mention the Quran and directly refer the Quran and perfect and like because one letter cannot say any meaning. So maybe some claim that there are several letters that can have meaning, but one letter itself must be something, and God should explain it, and God should make it clear and simple. That's the reason why I mentioned to maybe. So we can read it further. Surah 20, all the 20. We didn't reveal to you, so we mentioned this anyway. So it should be because of the Poet Surah. It's also Poet Surah. We saw this, I guess. On Surah 27. Sorry. Surah 27. These are the Tas. So this is another Quranic initial. 27, 29, 29, 30. So this is Alif Lam Mim we see, and there's no mentioning of it. Well, there's no reference to Quran, as I mentioned. So it's because it doesn't have to, because it was previously related to. But in Quran, if it is used only one time, it must mention the Quran because it's only one time, and it wasn't mentioned before. It doesn't create a dam, and so that's why I hypothesize that if there is one letter like Sad, Kaf, Taha, or Yasin, and Tasin also has it, right? We saw that. So which one? 29. Sorry, 27. These constitute the proofs of the Quran. So that's why it is beautiful. I just made a hypothesis in a short time, and it was confirmed. And it shows that Quran is perfect and well designed and coded, and the frequencies have meaning. And the meaning should be further investigated. This is my interpretation. And thanks for watching this video, and hope to see you in the next